So let's talk money, right? Because 2026 is here and it's time to stop being afraid of those bank statements, those credit card statements, right? The Cash App, all that. It's time to face what we are doing. And we're behind the ball, right? I like to use the royal we. We're on this together, right? So things that we need to start changing. First and foremost, you need a budget, right? You need to confront what you're spending every single day. You need to look at it for the week, for the month. You need to see just how much DoorDash is costing you, right? You need to have an understanding of that. You can see that might be $200-$300 that you were supposed to already think that is fine for groceries, but you're also spending that eating out. We are eating out more without actually leaving the house. The prices are high. You got to pay the service charge, the delivery charge. And if you got to, I know we're tired of tipping culture, but we also tip, right? I tip, right? I tip. We got a whole, system here in my little high-rise apartment thing. You got to know people to know people. And sometimes it gets hectic. So we'll give you a little tip for the driver. But that ends up taking, your hamburger for $7.59 and it brings it all up to like $23. So maybe the best thing right now is to say, I can cut back on that. Think of what I can save, what I can apply that to. You want to do something like more trips. You want to take a trip every couple of months. You know how you can fund that without feeling it? Cut back on something that's extraneous. That makes sense, right? Sometimes we just need to see it. We can conceptualize it here, but when you see it on paper, you see it on a chart, and you see it leaving your accounts constantly, you get a better idea of things, right? I'm not saying anything revolutionary there. That makes sense. We all understand that. Make a budget. And part of the fun about making a budget, when you get good at it, when you understand it, you can budget for fun. You can budget for entertainment. You said, I've got about $250, $300, $500, depending on your income. I'm not saying do $500, but you've got some money you can just say, I can have fun with, and that's guilt-free fun. That makes sense, right? The seasons will change. Try to make a budget that's reflective of what's going to happen. You're going to do spring cleaning. You're going to get rid of clothes. You may buy new clothes. Make a budget with anticipation of that happening. For instance, your birthday's coming up. You know where you want to go. You know what you want to do, but you don't want to be surprised by that bill when it comes time. You don't just want to swipe it, put it on a card, and just say, I'll deal with it when I get back. Because you know what dealing with it when you get back means. You're not looking at it, right? We got that. We understand that. We've been there. We've done it. So, budget first and foremost. Doesn't matter where your current financial situation is. You need to budget. That's it. Budget first. Even if it's harrowing, even if it's ugly, even if you don't want to be confronted it, you don't want to look at it, budget first. Take a look at what it is and then move accordingly. Okay. That next thing is for emergencies. Right? Because you have the budget. You can even start planning to fill your emergency account. Now, Dave Ramsey, who, love him or hate him, I think his advice is good for the masses. The masses in terms of, stop spending, eat on beans and rice, and pay these things out according to the highest interest rate or, snowball effect. Sometimes there's things we do psychologically because it keeps us more engaged. Paying down debt is one of those things. Sometimes you take your smallest so you can feel like, okay, that's gone. Or people do the other thing. They pay down their highest interest because that is costing them the most money. You have to understand psychologically what works best for you. One of the things, and the second thing is not about paying down debt just yet. It's about emergency fund. Now, Dave Ramsey, he champions an $1,000 emergency fund, and he's been criticized for it as the economy has changed, as things have cost more money. Right now, some people are saying you need $10,000 in an emergency fund. I think that pendulum has swung so far the other side. $10,000 in a savings account is often looked at as like a milestone for a lot of people. It's something incredible that they were able to do. They feel like their relationship with money and emergencies has shifted once they hit that dollar amount. It's nice to look at your account. Like it feels good to feel like I could reach out and touch that. The problem is sometimes you can reach out and touch it. So 10,000 makes sense just in terms of the emergencies that you may encounter, and say emergency is something simple, right? Let's leave medical debt, leave that aside, because we know when that happens, that's expensive. But say you got 4 flats, you need to replace 4 tires. That hurts, right? That hurts. And that's immediate. You got to replace that. You got to do that because you need the car. Okay, right? That $1,000 emergency fund won't really cut it. And now you'll find yourself furthering your debt. So 10,000 is kind of what they're thinking right now. But again, now it depends on your personal life, how much you tend to spend per month. The idea is to have an emergency fund that can help you manage weather the storm from the time, say, you lose your job to the time it would take you to find a new job. Back into the day, and I'm, back in the day, people had anticipation that was about 3 months. You could find a replacement for your job in about 3 months' time. Today, we know better. Right? That's people out here applying for jobs over and over and over and over again and not having any type of luck. So we know better. It's going to take you some time. So maybe that 3 months, you bump it to 6. Maybe you have contingency plans on how to downsize your living expenses almost immediately. And that can't be a thing that you warm up to. That's got to be a thing that you completely understand you need to do immediately. So if you're going to go with the 10,000 sort of way of thinking, cool, right? I got no problem with that. But budget for that to account for that. That may take time. And the reason I put emergency fund before paying down debt is because you can spend all your money paying down your debt and then you still hit that emergency. Your paid down debt doesn't do anything to service that emergency. Again, we're relying a little bit more on psychology for some of this to make sense. And I think that should make sense, right? So you establish your emergency fund, and on your way, your threshold, you need about $7,000 in your emergency fund. You want 10, but once you get to 7, now you start focusing on paying down some of your debt, right? And you can do, like we discussed earlier, the highest interest first, so you're being more efficient with your payments. You want to clear that out as quick as possible. Or depending upon you, if you're the person that likes seeing little goals checked off on your way, then yeah, it's probably your smallest step first. Either way, you want to be tackling this actively. You can't let this sit, and part of letting it sit is imagining and seeing other people doing the things that you want to do. Remember back then when we were all crazy about going to Tulum? You wanted to go, right? I wanted to go. Did you want to go in debt for it? Probably not. Did you go in debt for it? Probably so. So, you got to cut back. That's part of the budgeting process. If it's not in the budget, you really can't do it. And it sucks. But hopefully, again, you budgeted for a little bit of fun. And you knew the little bit of fun you needed to keep you on pace, keep you on track. If not, go back to step 1. Take a look at your budget. See what you can do. See what you can tweak. See what little fun you can inject in there. You can't probably go to Paris and spend the bag. You probably can't go to Chanel and get that thing. But in the future, if you do things right, that'll be the move. That'll be the win. Part of this whole thing about, budget and getting your money together is understanding that we're looking at long timeline. And I know that's difficult in our society today, which teaches you that you should have what you want to have today, right now. Not maybe like Amazon, 2 days tops. That's all you need. You're supposed to have it then and there. Unfortunately, it took you a while to accumulate this debt, and it's going to take you a while to see your way out of it. Outside of the very obvious other parts that you could be doing while you're engaged in all this is trying to find other ways to increase your income. Sometimes that's taking a second job. Sometimes that's doing something that you might find is kind of beneath you. Maybe that's Uber. Maybe that's door dashing. Anything extra you can bring in that's now outside of the budget, where to funnel that immediately. Paying down debt. Hopefully you're not door dashing so you can get yourself some extra spare change so you can have a little more fun, because you just put yourself in that same sort of cycle again and again. Now, in terms of spending, I know people like Dave Ramsey, again, very much against credit cards. The rewards, the points, and you know what? For a time being, you probably need to be kind of around that same thing, because when you swipe versus when you have actual physical cash, there is a psychological difference. When you have cash, you feel it, you understand it, you see that you had this much and now you have this much. You have this, and you have that. You see that, you feel that. Digital currency is very different. This is money. It's just digits. This is numbers on the screen. It doesn't. That impact is different to you. So sometimes, yeah, you need to set the credit card aside. You need to go out. Some budgets require you go out, you withdraw the cash, and when you get paid, you put in an envelope. You say, "This is groceries. This is a light bill. This is a phone bill." You understand that. You can see that transaction go. And again, that's the psychological side of it. You have to see what makes sense for you. No one else is going to make sense of that for you. If you're the type of person, no, digitally, I can get it. I can set the auto pay. I can keep going. Cool. No comments, no notes. Do that thing. Do the thing that's going to let you adhere to this thing the most frequent. Outside of emergencies, you don't want to be stumped. You don't want to be surprised of what's happening. If you can get another job, another way to make income, even if it's, sporadic, any little bit extra outside the budget that you're bringing in helps. You just have to account, say, if you're doing DoorDash or Uber Eats or Uber itself, you already had a budget for gas. You may need to account for that. You may need to understand, things are changing. I need to account for X, Y, and Z. You may need to do the math, and some, depending on the pay structure, you may need to know, hey, if I don't work 8 hours, it's not worth it. If you don't have the time, don't even engage in that. You should be getting used to doing math up front. And I know this is a scary term. It's a scary way of looking at things. Math. I get it. But that's kind of necessary to make some of this stuff happen. Right? So what do? Right? You got your 7, you got your 10, whichever it is. You slide that into a high yield savings. Right? Make it that one of those that you don't have, that's traditionally not with your bank, that right now is getting you at least 3.5, 3.4 to 3.8% interest just on your money. It's just sitting there. It's for emergency. It's still, you can still put your hands on it. It may take a day or two. You don't want something that when you're looking at, the Louis Vuittons, you're thinking, I can have this today. I just need to pull the money from here. I don't want you thinking like that. I want you to know that money is there and it's used for an emergency. But until then, let it grow. Let it grow. It's not going to do any serious, crazy growth, but let it just sit there and do something for you. Get that first understanding of investing, which is the next step. You're not investing that 7 or 10,000 you have there. You're not touching that. That's for emergencies. Investing is not an emergency, even though I want you to talk about it, think about it with that same sense of urgency that I need to get this done. It's important. It's critical for my future. If you don't have a 401k at your work, you need to check, and maybe they're matching it. And maybe you've been leaving money on the table the entire time. If you've done all these steps, right? You've taken care of, the emergency fund, you've done the budget, emergency fund, you pay down your debt. Now you need to be maxing out any type of retirement account. If that's a traditional 401k, if that's a Roth IRA, if you want more clarification on that, we can have different videos about that. Plan on talking more about stuff like that in the Patreon that we're going to create in the next couple of weeks. But you want to be maxing those out, especially when there's agency, your company's contribution. You want to be maxing that out. It's free money you leave it on the table. If they say they'll match you, don't be a fool, right? Your taste, depending what you want, the Roth or the traditional. Cool. After that, now you get to invest. Now you get to invest in the stock market, or you can start thinking about, is there a business that I want to purchase? Or is there a business I want to start? Or I want to start putting money together because I have an entrepreneurial idea. But you have to do in this order. We often think that if I can hit on this entrepreneurial idea, it'll solve everything else above. It'll pay off my debt. It'll fund an emergency fund. It'll take care of everything else, my retirement. No. You do it in the wrong order. And it's on a shaky house of cards. You never want to do that. You want to take your time in this process. Again, this may be a multi-year process. This may take you some time to get this thing done, but you'll thank yourself, because time is quick and it's slow. at the same time. When you look back and you realize you've been doing a thing for 3, 4, 5 years, 15 years already, you could look at the fruits of that. You see the thing grow over time. See it grow, and you be thankful for your past self that decided 2026 is the year I'm going to take myself seriously. I'm going to get myself together. But listen, if you got more to add, let me know down in the comments, of course. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those videos. And if you listen to my voice yapping for 15 minutes about finance, if you like videos like this, definitely should subscribe. I'll catch you next one.